Hello. So I have here Patrick Moreno, also known as the Lone Wolf. How are you today?
I am excellent. Thank you,
Good,
JC.
good. Okay, so I have a few questions. I would say roughly about 8 of them. I'm hoping to get through them today, but if we don't, that's okay. We can possibly do this another day. So my first question to you is a yes or no answer. Is there money? Yes or no?
That's a great question, but it's not a one word yes or no question. Um, so there is a word called money, and then there's actual money. Um, Actual money is a tangible thing that is found in the United States Code, Title 12, Section 411 of the United States Code, 12 USC 411. Fiat currency is also money. And that's where we sign contracts and we become liable to pay back a debt with a debt. So money exists in the word, in form, it's been diminished, and it is only a an accounting figure now. It's not an actual tangible thing.
Okay.
So if I were to say, if I only had one word, I would say, does money exist? Yes, but to get the real answer, you have to break it down and know the different parts.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, what is the W-4 process?
The W-4 process is reporting accounting on the private side under Title 26 that is not reported. So what happens is a signature is turned around at the Treasury window and converted into promises to pay through the form of bonds. And that's a bid bond, payment bond, performance bond. It's a standard form 24, 25, and 25A. And those are converted by attorneys who are the money changers. They are revenuing the money from the private to the public and vice versa. But we're not privy to the private side because we don't know who we are, and we're not entitled to the private side until we are private. So when we go on the public side and we initiate an endorsement, we become the primarily liable party for another man's debt, a stranger's debt. So we become the surety for a stranger and we don't even know what we did.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. So, my next question to you would be there's several W-4 processes. What makes yours different? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, well, so what I teach is, and there's a lot of people that are teaching trust out there. There's a lot of people just, I mean, $88, you can have a trust, but I mean, what you get some paper and you don't even know what it does, and that's kind of futile because that's exactly what I did when I started discovering all of this. And I paid a lot more money than $88, but you know the education is in knowing who you are, not because people are out there trying to do things that don't belong to us as a responsibility, and we end up doing things and asking for things that we don't even need to ask for. And the other people that are teaching don't fully comprehend it either because they're teaching people to get involved a little bit. And it's not even a little bit we should get involved. It's we need to give back what we took, and we need to wash our hands of it and be educated that our creator gave us everything that we need. We don't need another man's invention because we're creators ourselves, and we have the unlimited potential to create abundance of anything we want.
Correct. I have to agree with you there. So if I can go back to what you said prior, you said we don't know who we are. Can you elaborate when you say who we are?
Yeah. Well, we're born and we're handed a piece of paper, and just like Puff the Magic Dragon, okay, Jackie Paper, here you go. and, take that to school and give it to the teacher, and we go do that. And then you got to take it and give it to this and give it to them here. And then you take it somewhere and you go sign for it. And then they give you more stuff. And we're just creating more stuff for a company. We're taught to be trustees from the beginning, and we are taught to be registered agents. So we go sign up to be that, and we act this position our entire lives until we realize that there's no money, that there's only accounting. And then, well, then what are we doing all this for? Like, we've been living for a different purpose. We haven't ever been accumulating everything. And how come everything we've ever accumulated has been accumulated and then it just dumped? People just, like we abandon it, or it's taken from us because we lose a job or we get into an unfortunate position. That is not an accident. That's automatically set up to happen like that, so that we have to start over again and someone recovers everything that we left and abandoned. And I mean, it happens in storage units, it happens in divorces, it happens in, everywhere you look, it's about abandoned property, until people learn that we have the authority to do this, but we got to learn who we are not, so we can make that record, because we've been a presumption of something that wasn't who we are. We're not from our creator right now until we go and correct their record. They're presuming we are wards of the state under, well, I mean, if you look at American Jurisprudence Second, which is also known as Corpus Juris Secundum, the guardian ward relationship, we create that guardian ward relationship by not knowing who we are. And when we go and drop a signature off without any sort of like knowledge, then, well, we're creating a liability and we become responsible for it. So we got to learn who we are. And then once we do that, we address that, and it's not a mystery anymore.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So this is going to go back into, I guess, this is going back to another question that you had said. You had mentioned trust. So can you give me an example of trust? So I'm trying to rephrase this in the question that I want to get out, so the people that watch us can comprehend what I'm saying. So when you say we were handed a piece of paper, are you saying like a birth certificate, or what exactly is that piece of paper? And would that be considered a trust, the birth certificate?
Well, the birth certificate isn't a trust itself. The birth certificate is a proof of an existence of something. And so when you look at the document, it appears to have a name that is like the one that was mom and dad had put on the application for the live birth. And that was then put onto a piece of paper, like a car or a truck is put on a title, and it says at the top of it the state that belongs to. Now, the name on that paper is printed in a different printing style. The government printing manual has the spacing in it to where it is a symbol and not a word. You can also look up in the Chicago Manual of Style, 16th edition, foreign languages, and you'll find that it is esoteric. It's a symbol, not a name of something. It is symbolic of something else. And this is evidenced as well in, well, this is Freemasonry. This is how they hide things in plain sight. But you'll find that all of the federal judiciary oaths as well have done the same thing with the capitalization. A capitalization of something is diminishing the name to its maximum. Okay, I'm not going to give the Latin for that, but you can look that up. But it diminishes a name of authority. So the actual most authority is lowercase, but we are still learning, and so we use proper upper and lower case to correct it. And that's part of what I teach as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that explanation. Okay, so with the W-4 process, if one were to is what liabilities would one face if they were to do another W-4 process other than yours?
Well, it's not mine. I want to be clear on that. I'm
Okay.
just teaching stuff that has already been here. And like you'll hear, I have an explanation because it's just the truth. Equity is what it is. And it doesn't change ever. So you'll see that what has happened is a big process has been convoluted and we've been presumed to have to do this stuff and we're not. But we've created the signature and we can't take the ink out of the paper. We can't suck it up out of the paper and uncreate what we've done, because there's also the securities that are tied with the signature we can't take back. Okay. One thing I want to do mention is that none of this is fraud. People say all the time, this is fraud, this is fraud. None of this is fraud. You gave a lump sum of credit to somebody through an agreement somewhere, and you didn't give instructions, and that is not fraud. That is doing what they have to do because they don't have instructions. That's the only options that are there, is to do it the way that it's being done. The W-4 that I teach is reporting the private side, but it's not having any liability on it. These other groups are teaching people how to go and try to create money that doesn't exist, that is going to have to be accountable for at a later time on accounting records. In other words, they're doing stuff that is going to show liability to be a taxpayer to account for the actions that they're doing now at a later time. And they're teaching other people how to go and create accounting that they will have to be accountable for later, because, well, it's been created and it's not their job to do it. So I'm teaching people that it's not your job. This is not your job. The accounting ledger is the crucifix that in the metaphor that Christ had to carry. And the Christos is an oil that helps you ascend as a being in your superpowers, if you will. And if we don't understand or comprehend that that ascension needs to occur, and we give up certain ego things to make that happen, we evolve into something much bigger and beyond what we are. But we're always suppressed and low vibing as long as we don't discover that stuff. Now, the W-4 doesn't teach you how to vibe high. Okay, it doesn't. But it does, it helps you to go in and give a record and straighten a record of who you are not, because you signed up to be a liable party. The other parties, and I'm saying other parties, we're talking about court cases, things like that. The people that are privy to the knowledge, and woe unto you lawyers, for you have hidden the knowledge, and my people will perish for lack of knowledge. The ones that have the knowledge are walking up and redeeming it, and they're making an income for themselves through accounting that's good forever and ever. The ones that don't sit back and continue to give signatures and let people take advantage of them because they don't know any better.
Thank you. Pardon me. So when you say we went around signing things, do you mean signing my car? Like, for example, if I was to go purchase a car, that I just signed my name to purchase a car. So is that an example of what you mean, just signing,
It's
and
an
that's not
example.
fraud?
Yeah. So purchasing a car is an application, right?
Correct.
So you apply for what? What do you apply for? A job, right?
Right.
There's
Okay.
no money. So
Right.
every application you're doing is an application for credit, to extend credit. And the money system is actually in that way of employment. Women are getting paid, or the credit is given on the signature up until their expected life expectancy, which is 72. Men are 75. So the credit is issued at the time the application for employment is made, up to that age. And when we leave that job, we abandon that credit because we don't even know it exists there.